It is impossible to think or talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever without also thinking or talking about the tragic death of Chadwick Boseman, who brought to life one of the most charismatic heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For all the various ways in which people theorize about what future comic book movies will look like, what stories they'll tell, and what action will be brought to life, there has really only been one question to ask about Wakanda Forever: how would it handle Boseman's death? Hi guys, welcome to my channel, The Video Wikis. It's another movie review day, and today, I will be reviewing Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But before we move ahead, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when a new video is uploaded. Jumping ahead a year after T'Challa's death, the gears start turning in creaky fashion. The key ramification of T'Challa having revealed the true nature of his nation at the end of the first Black Panther is that the nations of the world want their hands on vibranium and are prepared to do anything to get it. For some nations, like the French, it means unleashing mercenaries on Wakanda outreach centers, a plan quickly foiled by the Dora Milaje. For some nations, like the United States, it means drilling deep beneath the surface of the ocean. That plan initially works, as a team of scientists find traces of vibranium far from the Wakanda's surface. Yet in doing so, they've inadvertently roused the murderous attention of the Talokan civilization of people who dwell far underwater, led by Namor, a charismatic mutant who's got a few hundred years of life on characters like Shuri, her mother Queen Ramonda, and everyone else in the film. After the initial shock of being visited by a water-dwelling mutant, Shuri and Okoye head to the States to find out who built the strange device that enabled the aforementioned and now dead American scientists to detect vibranium underwater. That leads our heroic duo to a 19-year-old MIT student, Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne, who's not only built said machine but basically built her own Iron Man suit in an otherwise abandoned mechanic's garage. Americans not only want their hands on vibranium but they also want whoever killed the scientists and assume it must be Wakandans. That bloodlust is personified poorly through government boss Valentina, reprising her role from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who also happens to be the ex-wife of Everett Ross. As Shuri gets to learn the key facts regarding Namor's identity, why the Talokans are underwater, and why they very badly want to proactively attack the surface world. Initially, Shuri and Namor are able to share a mutual respect. Shuri gets a better sense of the oppression Namor has felt over his hundreds of years of life, while Namor grasps that Shuri feels some of that oppression herself and is wary of the rest of the surface world being aware of Wakanda's powers. But that respect crumbles quickly, as Namor fails to enlist Shuri and the Wakandas in that preemptive strike against the surface world. Namor's response, which is as disproportionate as his entire desire to destroy the entire world, is to kill Queen Ramonda herself, sending Shuri down a vengeance spiral. Shuri's grief is powerful, especially in the final moments when she truly allows herself to feel the loss of her big brother. But the way that grief morphs into something darker is a misstep. Shuri's grief curdling into vengeance against the real world is hard to buy, as when she says she wants to burn the world. Though Wakanda's wariness of the outside world is understandable, Shuri's personality shift never feels remotely believable. Vengeance against her mother's killer makes sense, but Namor is unable to make himself as complex a character as Killmonger was in the previous film, because the script's vastly less nuanced. One major strength that Black Panther had, and one that Black Panther, Wakanda Forever somewhat tries to replicate, is that greater knowledge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was not required for enjoyment. Wakanda Forever invokes the Hulk at one point, but it only sometimes pulls at threads, or introduces them, that loom larger in the MCU. That speaks to one reason why Louis Dreyfus' performance is one of the low points. It's not just that she's frankly too well known from one of the most ubiquitous TV shows of all time. It's that she's only ever appeared in the rough and leaden Falcon and the Winter Soldier show from last year, and remembering that show is enough to make you groan. Though this film represents the near conclusion of Phase 4 of the MCU, it feels more like a launchpad for Shuri, for Namor, and for Riri in her Iron Heart garb. The low bar here is that there's no surprise cameo, no tease of a big-name hero, and nothing that hints at the next big bad. What we're left with is a movie whose makers are racked with grief that countless people across the world share, but grief that cannot turn itself into a cathartically entertaining experience. Wakanda Forever had unfair expectations placed upon it, and that it does not achieve them is unsurprising. But it's still disappointing. Thanks for watching to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below your opinions on Wakanda Forever. See you on the next video. Bye.